Hello everyone and welcome to another intriguing episode of A Mother's Body. My name is Omolola Adekoya, your host on the program. The last time we were here, I talked about sleepover. That's the broad topic. However, I did mention some subtopic under sleepover, and I want us to, briefly take a dive into some of the subtopics that I mentioned earlier on during my last presentation. So today I will be talking or mentioning some subtopic, and I'll be brief about them. And the first one I want to talk about is safety. That is the first thing I want us to talk about, and I want to make sure that even though you've been yay or nay or a sleepover diva, you are constantly reminding your children to be safety conscious. Well, sometimes I could be careless about safety, but most of the time I have to have it at the back of my mind and to always tell my children to be safety conscious. So the first thing you want to tell your child, if you're fresh, if you're just getting into the sleepover stuff, which I have my personal opinion about, if you're just getting into it, you want to instill in your son or daughter or your children that wherever they are, wherever they go to, the first thing they have to think of is safety. When you enter a place, you have to look around and think of the next exit apart from the door you came in through. That is very important. God forbid something happen, which is the immediate next exit. If the door they came in through is not accessible at that time, which is the immediate exit that they can access, instead of going back, which sometimes is not always a pleasant situation. And the next thing I'm going to be talking about is the room they are going to be sleeping in. Now, I think that before your child should go on a sleepover, as a parent, you need to be familiar with the house. You need to know the house they are going to. You need to, I'm not saying go into their privacy, but you need to know the structure of the place they are going to. The room they will be sleeping, how safe is the room? Is there an exit in the room? If there is no other access door, how far is the window from the room to the ground? You want to be sure that just in case something happens, our children, safety-wise, are well prepared, to face the storm or to face whatever happened when they are sleeping over there. It's not a predictable event. Sometimes some stuff happens that is unpredictable, but we want to be sure that we do everything humanly possible to ensure that our children are safe wherever they are. The next thing I'll be talking about is prayer. Prayer is very important. Now, the family your children are going to spend the night with, and that was why, if you remember the last time, I did talk about culture of the family. This is what I meant. This is part of what I meant by culture. The family they will be sleeping over with, what is their culture when it comes to prayer? Are they a family that really believes in prayer? Are they a family that they don't care, anything goes? They wake up in the morning and the next thing is they're eating, or they're just chatting away or just gossiping away? You want to be sure that whatever house your child is going to is a prayer house, is a place where they pray. And you want to be sure that you have the same Father. So many people pray, but you don't know what and who they pray to. But you want to be sure that we're in the same kingdom, praying to the same Father. And this family have a culture of encouraging my children, to communicate with their Heavenly Father first thing when they wake up in the morning. That's the second point. Now, the third point is courtesy. We need to teach our children courtesy. Charity, they say, begins at home. Whatever you teach your child from home is what extends outside. And remember this, your child is a representative of your home, and you're representative when you are not there. The Bible says, teach a child the way he should go, so that when he grows, he will not depart from it. These are part of the things we need to teach our children. When they go out there, how courteous are they? How respectful are they? Do they just wake up in the morning and just look at everybody around as if people don't exist? Or do they wake up and be courteous to everybody around them? especially the elderly, even their age mates. You know, you want to hear a report about your children after a sleepover or a visit that, oh my God, she was so courteous, she was such a princess, or he was such gentlemanly. You know, we need to teach our children courteous. Courtesy means, you know, saying the keywords like thank you, please, I'm sorry, excuse me, you know. And when you see elderly people or even your age mates, you should be able to say hi, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening. You know, those are very, very important skills that I think our children need to develop before you send them out there, you know, because those are replicas of our own culture in our home. And another thing I want to talk about in cultures is when you see elderly people out there, how courteous are the children to them? Are they compassionate to elderly people, or they just ignore them? Are they, you know, willing to assist others? Are they willing, you know, to assist especially the elderly, or they just ignore them? So those are some of the skills we need to equip our children with before our children leave the home. Now, the way I teach my children courtesy might be different from the way you teach your children courtesy. But you want to do it in a way that your child will not be rebellious about learning the skills, but will be receptive towards it and see it as a way of life. Now, the next thing is personal grooming. That is the most important. Everything is most important, but this is also important as well. Personal grooming, especially for girls and of course for boys. And you know, you want to teach them, first thing you do when you're in the bathroom, how to take care of your body parts, how to wash every part of your body, especially girls. You know, we have so many hidden parts and folds, and you don't want to be out there after all of the activities, or even before the activities, you're smelling. You don't want people to say, something stinks. You know, you want to be sure that you are taking proper care of your hair, your eyes, your nose, your ears, your teeth, your mouth, your armpits, your elbow folds, your vagina, your back, you know, your every part of your body as a girl. You want to be very sure that you wash it properly, especially for teenagers or, you know, young adults that started their menstrual cycle. You want to be sure that I know how to appropriately dispose of my tampons or my pads. Now, if you're sleeping over for a night and, you know, it just starts, you want to be sure you have an extra tampon or an extra pad in your backpack or in your bag, so that if anything happens, you have a back plan, you know, or a second plan. You always need to go with an extra. You don't want to be embarrassed and all stained. So you want to be sure, and you don't want to inconvenience your host or your hostess. So you want to be sure that when your children are going out, especially if they're in that stage, whether it is that time of the month or not, you want to drop one in their backpack or in their purse, so that they know that I always have something to fall back on just in case it happens unexpected, you know. And you want to teach them that when you get there, and it's, I don't know, it could be embarrassing to just go to someone's kitchen or the bathroom and just dump a tampon or a tampoo in the trash can. You want to ask for a t-shirt back. Put it in there tight, put it in your backpack. When you get home, you dispose it, you know. But if in case you're staying more than a night, you want to find out, okay, just in case, where do you dispose? From your friend or from the mom? Where should I dispose my tampons or my pads? And all of these things they will show you, and everything you need to arrange and, you know, make your children grow into receptive to these skills. And then personal hygiene. Personal hygiene is part of what I just talked with. I modded personal grooming and personal hygiene together, and part of, you know, personal hygiene is disposing and being prepared for the unexpected for the girls. And for the boys, you need to teach them, brush your teeth, comb your hair, brush your hair, put on a little bit of body spray or roll on. You know, you have to look and smell nice, and dress accordingly, appropriately, you know, so that when Jesus is walking on the way, he will not, you know, he would recognize you as one of his, you know. So we want to teach our children proper personal grooming and proper personal hygiene. Another thing I want to talk about is appropriate use of 911. Now, if our children are still too little to remember mommy and daddy's phone number, You want to write it in a piece of paper and put it in their backpack or in their purses where they can easily reach it, so that if anything happens, they'll be able to call mom and dad to pick them up or call 911. And they should be able to express themselves, to articulate whatever the issue is appropriately and accordingly. So we want to teach our child what 911 means. You don't just want them to be playing around with it. They really need to understand that when I'm calling 911, that means it is an emergency because I can't reach mommy and daddy. Now, their mom, their dad is their 911. And if they can't reach mom and dad, they call 911. If it's a dire situation, we have to teach them. Call 911 if anything happens. If there is a fire, if somebody fell, if there is an accident, if anything happens, even if they're walking on the street and something happens to someone, they have to call 911. So we have to teach our children all of these skills before you send them out there. You know, because sometimes you just see some children come into the house to spend for sleepover, and then you ask yourself, why did I allow this child to come around for sleepover? You know, we want to be sure that our children are not going out there to embarrass us, but to represent our family accordingly. Well, until next time, I will have to stop there. Next time we will be talking about educating our children about sex, and that includes the different parts of the body, appropriate touches and inappropriate touches. What do you do when you are touched inappropriately? And who do I hug? And when I hug, how do I hug people? So we want our children, you know, to be aware of all of these things, because these skills are lifelong skills. Our children don't only have to feel safe when we are there, but they have to feel safe in their own body and be confident about themselves. And I believe if we teach our children to develop these skills in the way of the Lord, our children will grow up to be responsible adults with integrity that will honor God and their nation and themselves and their parents and their generation. So until I see you same time, I remain Omolola Adekoya, and I hope, you know, that the Lord will continue to keep watch over us. Take care and have a good day.